More than 170 countries are expected to lay bare their plans to tackle climate change and its impact, especially in light of the soaring oil prices. What this COP27 intends to also bring out is that the pledges and commitments are made in financing and not just on paper, basically saying that there needs to be a shift in terms of the urgency to address climate change, and agreements that were previously agreed upon, such as the 2015 Paris Agreement, as well as the commitments made at COP26 in Glasgow last year. During the course of the 2 weeks, this is what the leaders or the world leaders would be preoccupied with, and that this COP is attended by also not just world leaders, not just government officials, but also climate change activists. You have the civil society and the businesses here as well, with interest in combating climate change.
In order for Africa to realize its commitment under the Paris Climate Change Agreement in 2015, Africa needs financing. Last year, before Glasgow, in Copenhagen, there was a promise of $100 billion per year. That was more than 10 years ago. We have not seen anything.
So how do you think Africa should push for this financing?
I think it's more the responsibility on the developed countries to make money available. Because Africa has done its part. We have signed up the Climate Paris Agreement. African countries have signed. We are developing the nationally determined contributions. We are preparing our long-term adaptation plans. We have investment plans in the continent. What Africa lacks is financing.
What they need to do differently?
Yes.
So much. But I think one of the biggest things for this COP that needs to be front and center, which may have not been there in other COPs, is about resilience, adaptation, and building better structures for finance to flow, which means that private sector finance can also come in. So because it can't just be reliant on public sector finance, but an adaptation is no matter how close we get to 1.5, no matter how successful we are in the clean energy transition, adaptation is still something we have to do every single day. So I think this COP has an opportunity to do that. It may happen through loss and damage, but I think more importantly, alongside that, it needs to have some practical ways and tangible ways in which private finance and the private sector can step into the resilience frame.
In terms of just having them accountable for what was pledged last year at COP26, how do you think they should go about to implement those agreements or the commitments?
The devil's in the details, so it's words are easy to say and plans are easy to make, but it's all about the implementation and figuring out actually how to get started on that and make the really specific plans to implement the commitments that we've made.